Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out November 16th, 2018, AJC.com. Many of you might remember this teen that you see in the picture, Kendrick Johnson. He was 17 years old at the time of his death, found in a rolled up gym mat, January 11th, 2013. Well, the family, they decided to get a third autopsy done on him, and it was ruled foul play. Now, they ruled it an accidental death. Now, you got to understand the two people that were suspects were the sons of an FBI agent. Okay. So they're going to go all out, and they have not to arrest these guys, not to accuse them, not to make them look guilty in anything. And that's exactly what they've done. Now, I think it was like a month before he got into a fight with these same two brothers. But again, it's sons of an FBI agent. So, they're all on code. And you're going to see from the sheriff to the judge to the coroner's office, they're all the superintendent of the school. They're all on code. Now, just to refresh your memory, there was blunt force to his neck, his stomach, his sneakers were off, and his organs were missing. And where his organs were, newspaper was stuffed in his body, where his vital organs were. Now, they're trying to say his death was accidental. I don't know. How do you accidentally hit your neck and stomach with blunt force and then tear your own organs out and then stuff organs, newspaper where your organs was, and you did all that by accident? If these high IQ retards don't get their asses the hell on out of here. So let's go back to this article because it's the most recent. They have the results of the third autopsy, and this was at the request of the family, and it concluded it was no accident. It was non-accidental. The new autopsy, they claim, although it has different findings, that it will have minimal effect on the case. You got to remember, the good old boys are in charge. So they're going to do everything they can to keep these FBI agent sons innocent in the whole thing. So they're saying in the third autopsy that this concludes that it was foul play. In the second autopsy, they concluded was an accident. I know they look. These high IQ people are bad at lying. You should know that by now. Look at the Amber Geiger case. Oh, I don't know where I live. Oh, I thought I was in my apartment. I thought that was an intruder in my apartment. That's the high IQ people. Okay, dumb as hell. So his body was found in a rolled up mat nearly 6 years ago. He died of a non-accidental blunt force trauma between his neck and abdomen. The third autopsy concluded that mirrors the findings of the first autopsy. See, they weren't satisfied with the first autopsy because then they would have to charge people. So what they did down there in Valdosta, and it has a bad reputation, Valdosta, Georgia, horrible reputation, past and present. They didn't want to charge these murderers because that's what they were. So they did a second autopsy, and the second autopsy concluded everything as an accident and cleared the two suspects of everything because they are the sons. I'm going to keep going back and telling you this because they were the sons of an FBI agent. And I'm telling you, there were more people involved. I don't believe those two teens took his vital organs out. I believe another third party or even 4 or 5 people were there and did that. Those teens didn't know how to do that. Somebody else was on the scene that took those organs out. Okay, the state medical examiner's office found the cause of death to be positional asphyxia, meaning he became trapped in a position that caused him to suffocate. Okay, that still don't explain the missing organs, and it sure don't explain the blunt force that was found on his neck and his stomach. Okay, there was no suffocation, ladies and gentlemen. These people and their bad high IQ lies are just taking us for fools. Okay, so a review of the autopsy commissioned by the federal investigators, so remember, this was an FBI agent and his sons, concluded that GBI's autopsy is more credible. So what they're saying is the one that was ruled as an accidental death, that is the most credible autopsy. And this third autopsy, you can pretty much say they are trying to dismiss it, which is probably the most accurate one. This and the first one are probably the two most accurate autopsies. And then we have the good old boys autopsy that says it was an accident. But the Johnsons have never accepted the official line. Kendrick KJ Johnson was murdered. And I agree with that. I agree. This is no doubt a murder. But we already knew that. Jackie Johnson wrote on Facebook Friday morning. The Johnsons remain convinced their son was killed by brothers Brian and Braden Bell, sons of a local FBI agent. Video evidence showed the Bells were nowhere near the old gymnasium. But ladies and gentlemen, if many of you remember, the video surveillance that they had set up in the gym didn't cover the whole gym. It only covered part of the gym. You could see on the surveillance, but you could not see that whole room on the surveillance. And whoever killed him, they knew that. They knew that. And they made sure nothing was in the line sight of that surveillance camera. Okay. The state and local investigators believe he got stuck inside a large rolled up gym mat, presumably reaching for a pair of sneakers. Nobody does that. Nobody walks into a gym and crawl inside of a rolled up gym mat for sneakers. Nobody does that. And how did the sneakers get in there in the first place? So you mean to tell me he was walking around in the hallway with no sneakers on? Because when they found him, he had no shoes on his feet. So he was walking around like that with just some socks on around the school. You see how stupid these people and their lies are. So he was just walking around like that, right? So when they found his body, he had no shoes on his feet. But he was in the gym reaching for his sneakers. Now, again, how did the sneakers get there? See, these high IQ people want you to accept anything that comes from their lying lips. And again, their lies are on the same capacity up there with Amber Geiger. Okay. In 2016, the Department of Justice concluded that there was insufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone or some group of people willfully violated Kendrick Johnson's civil rights or committed any other prosecutable federal crime. Okay, so finding newspaper in his body where his organs were, that's not sufficient evidence. Seeing the blunt force on his neck and on his stomach, that's not sufficient evidence. You see how full of shit these people are. Again, not interested in the victim, only interested in protecting the FBI agent's sons. See, ladies and gentlemen, these folks that are running law enforcement have no business being in charge of it at all. They shouldn't be in charge of anything, and this is why no one respects your laws. No one respects your law enforcement. No one respects your system, because I'm not going to call it a justice system, because there's no justice at all. It is a corrupt, good old boy system, and it's been in place for 400 years. It's not a justice system at all. And none of us, we need to stop calling it a justice system. It's not a justice system. It's not even a legal system. It's not legal. It's in a legal system. It's unlawful. Better to call it an unlawful system, because that's what it is. Subsequent civil suits filed by the Johnsons allege a vast conspiracy and cover-up that concluded an FBI agent, a former sheriff, and the school superintendent, because they're all on code, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how rotten the judge was. Okay, they didn't get awarded anything in the civil suit. This is what the judge did to the Johnsons, the parents that are fighting this thing. The Johnsons were ordered last year to pay attorney fees to multiple defendants named in their suit. The judge in the case accused the Johnsons and their attorney, Shavane King, of fabricating evidence to support their claim. So they were ordered to pay everyone because they want justice for the murder of their son. We know this was a murder. And ladies and gentlemen, the way they have been working overtime to protect these undeserving critters that they're protecting, they know this is murder too, or otherwise they wouldn't be going all out like this to protect those racist assholes that killed him. But see, ladies and gentlemen, this is how their rigged up system works. Nobody should believe in their system. When they say let the system work, you should be laughing in their face. Their system has never worked. Their system only works one way, rigged up to be always in their favor and never in yours. That's the only way this system has worked for centuries. It doesn't work any other way. There needs to be no training, no reform, none of that garbage they be trying to discuss. The system needs to be dismantled. It's too many dishonest people running it. This is just an extension of the good old boy system. That's all it is. Nothing legal about it. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, these folks in charge now are not the people that's going to take this world to the next level. These are not the people to lead us into the future. If you leave them in charge for the next 1,000 years, we're going to have another 1,000 years of racism, oppression, lies, deception. That's all we're going to have. Another 1,000 years of this? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Maybe there's a reason why hurricanes are wiping out towns and wildfires are sweeping through towns. Maybe it is like everybody is saying, karma. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.